Hey everybody, Ryan here. Today we're just going to go over the day 8 of the JavaScript 30 course. This one's pretty cool. We're starting to get into Canvas and how to use Canvas. So what we're building is basically this little demo that you can draw on it. You can see the line changes and the colors change, and if I refresh it, it'll reset it, but then I can just draw more. If I leave, it'll come back and it doesn't draw. So a lot of cool functionality going on in this. Here's how I did it. So basically the first thing we're doing is we're going to work with these mouse events. That's what the main thing of this project is. So we have a mouse down. We're going to add these event listeners to our canvas. So we're starting off, our HTML is just a canvas element. And then inside of our script, we're grabbing our canvas. We are grabbing a context for our canvas, and then we're just grabbing the height and width of the canvas for later use if we need to for positioning around the screen. I don't need this right now anymore. I had a game loop in here before, but I took it out because there's no real need for this, for it hidden here. So we have our line starting position object. These are just our objects that are going to change throughout the life of the program. So I'm leaving them up here globally, and then they will get changed depending on what's going on inside of these different methods here. So our line start position is just set at 0, 0. That's a default. Line on is a true or false. So when I click down, so we're listening for a mouse up and a mouse down event. When I click on the mouse, we fire the mouse down. I set isLine to true, meaning that if we have a mouse down on the canvas, it means I'm clicking down on the canvas. So we want to set the isLine to true. And then we are also on mouse down. We are starting the line. So we're line start position. X is the e.offset of this event. So if I just console log out e, there we go. And I come in here and I do some stuff, and then I'll bring up the So if I click here in the corner as much as possible, like right in the corner here, we'll get this mouse event, and then we want to look at the offset X and offset Y. That's from the top left corner of the whatever element we're firing this event on. See here we have it attached to the canvas instead of the document, as you might have seen before. We were only 2 pixels from the top and 2 pixels from the left, or top and left right there. So this offset X and offset Y gives us an XY position of where our mouse is inside of the canvas, and we can use that to set our line start position. So right now we're just setting a line start position on here, and that's not doing anything. I just click, that's not drawing anything yet. What draws things is when we click and then we move the mouse. So remember, on mouse up, we're just setting isLine onto false. So we are just making it so that when I move the mouse around here without clicking, we don't draw. And the whole reason we're doing all that is because on mouse move, which is where most of the things happen here, is we are saying line to end position. Because in order to draw a line, think about it, you need 2 positions. You need a starting position and then an ending position, and then you draw a line from those 2 positions. So we are clicking here. That's why when I do a single click and don't move, we don't draw anything. But the second I click and then drag a little bit, we start drawing the lines. And so you see, because it has to connect those 2. So we're getting, when on the mouse down, we're getting the starting XY, and then on mouse move, even if it's just like a millimeter on the screen, we now have 2 positions for a line. So the second the mouse move, the second the mouse move is fired, we're going to grab the offsets again from this event, from the mouse move event, which is the new position. So that's going to be where our line end position is. So we're passing that. We're creating an object, XY object with that, and we're passing that in to draw a line. So draw a line, all it does is just draws a line. And then depending on a couple of the variables we have up top here, it changes the hue and the line width and all that. So we're basically just supplying 2 position objects to draw a line, and then we're checking here isLine on. So if this is false, we're just going to return out of or if isLine on is true, if line on is true, then we're going to flip it, it's going to be false, so we're actually going to draw. But then if it's false, then we're going to just escape out of here, because it's false here, we flip it to true, it just returns and escapes out of the function. So that's what's happening here. Here we're still, like, if I'm just moving my mouse around the screen, I'm still firing mouse events, but it's just getting to this short circuit here and just exiting out of the function, so it's not doing anything. Now here is where we fluctuate the line sizes. I just said line max width line min width. I like avoiding magic numbers in my calculations, so I just give things titles. So we're saying, well, if the line width is less than or equal to the max line width, which I set to 100, or the line width is less than or equal to, greater than or less than or equal to the min line width, we're just going to flip the direction. So the direction is just either 1 or -1. And that just has to do with whether or not the line width is going to grow or shrink. Because you'll see here, when I move it, it shrinks and then goes back down, grows, goes back down, grows, goes back down. It's just it just keeps cycling through that. And so what we're doing here is we are just setting that direction. Then we have the color change speed. I just have it upping by, increasing by 10. And then the line width is, we're just adding the line direction. So the line width direction is -1, we're just going to be adding -1, which will bring the value down. If we're adding 1, it's just going to bring the value up until eventually it hits this condition, and then switches it from a 1 to a -1. Okay, and so here's where we actually draw things. We set the stroke style to an HSL, which is hue, saturation, lightness. The main thing we need is the hue, which is basically just a big color wheel. And so red is 0, and I guess violet would be 360, so it's 0 to 360. And if you supply a number higher than 360, it's just going to round it down and pick a color. So, or not round it down, but use the modulus to sort of loop over it again. So if you say you're at 361, it's just going to flip back over to the value of having the value of 1. Okay. So we set the line width, and then we set the line join and the line cap. Those are just kind of stylistic things. And then we begin the path. Move to line start position where we start the line drawing, and then this is like, think of this as where we're saying we want to start a path, and then we're saying this is where we want to start the path, and then we want to draw a line to our next line position, and then we're just going to draw it. And so it's basically like we're just drawing a series of very small lines, but when you add them together, it creates one big line here. So that's it for this video. Let me know. Oh, here, I have this just to quickly show how you can display things. I'm going to take this out. This is a clear rect. It's pretty cool. It's we start from 0 in the corner, or 0 from the top or left, and 0 from the top, and then we go all the way to the width and height of the canvas element, which is what we grab these up here. So we go to the width and height, and so we're basically clearing the rectangle. And so when I have this in here, and then I also call that within our mouse move. So right here, I have this commented out. So now we can draw a line and display mouse position E, but we're not going to see the draw line anymore because inside of display mouse position, I am clearing the rectangle each time. So it's just going to display our X and Y positions. So you can see here, once I get up here, this is our offsets. It goes into negatives there because I have a border over here, and it's I have the box sizing set to content or border box. So technically the border isn't, or is part of the element size. So that's why when I hover over the border, we go into negatives because it's actually still considered part of the content area, not outside of it like it is when it's border or set to content box. So yeah, there's that, but we're technically drawing here, but it's just clearing it so fast every single time. So it's clearing this text every time and then redrawing it out. Like here, you can see fill text. I'm just putting in the offsets, and then I'm centering it by using width minus half the width and the height minus half the height, which just centers it on the page for us. Oh, and then I also use a text align center to really center it. If I get rid of this and reset, see how it shifted over because it's actually drawing from here, but when I do text align center, it recalculates it to put it in the center. Line. There we go. Okay, cool. That's it for this video, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Please like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Take care. Bye.